Hi, I'm Neil. Nice to meet you.
Neil is our planner. He does all our planning work and deals with all the local council. It's nice because we have quite a lot of things, as you know, that we had to deal with. And Neil. That's right at the end. Yeah, you. Do you want me to show you where that is, the pair of you now? Yeah, I'll show you too, so you know where we are, yeah?
I'm not sure what this is actually. I live on the suite.
It's amazing.
Hello, for those who don't know, we've been a developer restoring the school over the last few years. Yeah, it's nice that we're all gathered here together now for the right reasons. In 2011, there was quite a few of you out here standing in front of that bulldozer, and thank goodness you were, because otherwise none of us would be here now, and who knows what we would have got. So thank you for that. I'd like to welcome the chairman, Les. Round of applause for Les. Les Mead, our chairman. Please pop down. Les has been quite supportive right the way through the project. He's been down with the camera, taking a few pictures here and there, came around and took a few pictures and met me, well, before we even got started, Les, didn't we? Yeah, so thank you for being here. I'd also like to thank the councillors, quite a lot of the councillors, for their advice and support when we were trying to put this planning application together. Without their support, it probably wouldn't have happened. And a special mention for Steve Jury, whose advice at the time was fantastic to me, and has since actually put together a covenant on the school to protect the colours and the school in future years. So thanks very much to Steve Jury. I'd also like to say a big thank you to the planning team at Three Rivers District Council, especially Claire Westwood, who I have seen here. She's here. Where are you, Claire? Claire's. All right, big thanks to Claire. She was absolutely fantastic when we were putting the application in. Her support and the speed that she dealt with things so that we could actually carry out a lot of the work through the summer months and take advantage of the good weather was really great. And her pragmatic approach to the whole thing has been wonderful. So can we have a round of applause for Claire, please? Thank you, Claire. Mostly I'd like to thank my wife, actually, Nicola, for her belief, encouragement, and for putting up with my stressful returns from work. And my children, Ross, Kate and Charlotte, who had to put up with a very stressful chicken night on Wednesday nights on occasions. There have been a lot of tough decisions to make on this project, and Nikki has helped me make them all. She's always there for us as a family, and she's the best wife and mother that anyone could wish for. So please, a round of applause for my wife. You could have dressed up today, dear, couldn't you? And I'm going to get a slap for that later. And finally, the council have taken a really pragmatic approach on this project from the start to the finish. They as a team should all be very proud. A part of Croxley's heritage has been brought back to life here. And the winner from the council's approach has to be all of us really, especially the old girl herself, meaning old Yorke Road School. It stands as a shining light today to remind us all of what can be achieved when we all work together. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
At last. Right. Hello, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here this beautiful sunny lunchtime. Before this building was vandalised by its previous owners, I used to pass it on my way to Watford and often thought it would make a great museum building for Three Rivers Museum Trust. If I had been lucky enough to win the lottery, that is what it would have been. Like you all, I was devastated when it was partially demolished. But luckily, the locals were on hand, and thank you very much, you locals. I was so pleased when Paul O Reilly came on the scene, and he has not let us down with his fine refurbishment of the building. So with great pleasure, I would like to officially open the new Yorke School development, and I shall cut the ribbon in a few minutes. Many thanks to Paul for the foresight and ambition to see the project through. You should be able to see the rebirth later this year on my YouTube channel, because I've actually, I've videoed it. It's been really great, and you wouldn't believe what it looked like originally. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Les, for those kind words. Thank you. Steve Farrell now. Come on up, Steve.
Thanks, Paul. As you know, I'm very proud to have been associated with this restoration, and I know how much it means to the community and to Three Rivers Council that what we see here today is so fantastic. If you'll just bear with me, I think it takes me about 3 minutes just to run through this, because I had to think carefully about how far my involvement with the Yorke Road School goes back. So my involvement goes back as conservation officer to early 2008, when the owners of Yorke Road School, the Leukemia Research Foundation, announced they were looking to sell it as they no longer intended to use it for storage. There was great concern expressed by many Croxley residents that its possible loss would be a significant part of Croxley's limited Victorian history being lost. The next thing I knew, 9:30, 6th of June 2011, I received a call from Mr. Colin Burgess, who lives next door. There's a JCB in Yorke Road School starting to demolish part of the north front gable end. I arrived a few minutes later, by which time nearly 20% of the north wing was reduced to rubble, and I screamed at the JCB driver to stop and show me his authorisation to proceed with demolition. I was also slightly fascinated by, I've never seen a JCB made by Ferrari before. That's probably why it was so quick. By 10 a.m, a considerable crowd of residents and a dog had assembled outside the school, and reinforcements had arrived from the office, creating such a maddening crowd. I think the JCB driver decided to stop work and went off to call the office. Paul O Reilly and his team has ably and skillfully demonstrated craftsmanship here, and the wonderful phoenix you see risen today can preserve both the form and spirit of a community's past, and it is now a shining example of Croxley's present that all involved with can be very proud of. Thanks for listening.
Just before I invite Rose up to say a few words as well, I didn't see him, but Albie and Mark are over there. And Albie and Mark are a very important part of finishing the building off, because if you see these arches at the top here that we created above this window where Steve was talking about the demolition took place, they were working all hours to get that done, so they didn't hold us up, and they made the forms, and it really was a fantastic piece of brickwork, guys. So can we have a round of applause for Albie and Mark? Thanks, guys, great job. Rose.
But I'm here as a former pupil and member of the committee of the Residents Association, and I was going to thank Paul first of all and his team for producing such a fantastic restoration of the building. We thought it might be lost forever, and that would have devastated me. And when we saw the bulldozers arrive 3 years ago, and Steve Farrell came along, I thought, I've got to thank Steve for coming along, because he's done so much to help as well. And my thanks particularly to the neighbours, to Margaret and Colin, who alerted the police on many occasions when we had either intruders or people making a nuisance of themselves, and generally kept us informed of going on. And Julia Matheson, who's here I know, who did a lot of research to try and establish the architect and details of the history of the school, thank you. And Margaret Humphrey, who also can't be here today, but she not only put in many hours researching Yorke Road's history, but she lurked with me on summer evenings outside the school to note the presence of the local bats. Now the bats did their part to save the school too, and Paul has even created an accommodation for them. I have seen it.
We haven't put the sky dish in for it yet.
Right, okay. And Diane Galloway, who I don't think is here today, from All Saints Church, she was also very, very helpful throughout with information from the church archives. And she's very good. If anybody's really interested, you can ask Diane and she'll let you look through the stories that the teachers have actually written in the books. And I think she's also doing an exhibition in the church. It's been a long, hard fight with lots of ups and downs, but I know you'll agree it was well worth it. It was a real community effort to save Yorke Road School. It's an amazing building. Thank you, Paul.
Passionate as ever. Thank you so much, Rose.
Looking to me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yorke Road School.
Thank you for coming.
I'm hoping somebody here.
Can we have the speech again?
Yeah. Steve, it's not often we get you on your hands and knees. Look at
I've got something to show you that I found in the...
There's a bloody tree here.
Thank you, Steve. You've made a good choice.
There you go. Well done, everybody.
Joe. Welcome, guys. Well done, Rose.
Get in.
Did you expect that?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no, I don't.
no, I saw you.
Oh, it's lovely.